Green walked through the halls of the station, his shoes making soft sounds on the metal floor. The station was huge, bigger than anything he had ever seen. It had been built long ago by many alien races who wanted a place where they could meet and talk without fear. Now, humans were finally here, and was the captain of the research team sent to learn about other worlds. The station was confusing. All the corridors looked the same, had separated from his team about 20 minutes ago. He was supposed to be in the observation deck, the place where humans could watch the stars and learn about space. He thought he was walking in the right direction, but nothing looked familiar. The station was dark in some places and bright in others. The air felt cold and smelled like metal and something else he could not name. Turned left at a corner, then he turned right. He passed doors that were shut tight. Some doors had symbols on them that he did not understand. He knew that liked to keep their work secret. They were a proud race, tall and thin with skin that looked like silver. They lived in a part of the galaxy far away, and they had power that humans did not have yet. But humans were smart and they learned fast. That was why he was here. He came to a door that looked different from the others. This door was smaller and had no symbols on it. Inside, he could hear voices. 2 voices. They sounded like they were speaking about something important. Pushed the button to open the door. He thought maybe someone inside could help him find the observation deck. The door opened and stepped inside. What he saw made him stop moving. The room was large and bright. Along one wall there were many machines with screens and lights. Along another wall there were containers with liquids in them. In the middle of the room stood 2 women. They were looking at something on a screen when came in. They turned to look at him with eyes that were not human. Their eyes were dark and large, and they showed no emotion. The older woman was taller. Her skin was a lighter silver than most. She wore clothes that looked like a scientist's clothes. The younger woman was shorter but still tall compared to. Her skin had a slight blue color to it. Both women had long fingers that moved with purpose and grace. For a moment nobody moved. Nobody spoke. Realized very quickly that he had made a mistake. This was not the observation deck. This was a research room, a private research room. The older woman spoke first. Her voice was clear and cold. She said, "You are human." It was not a question. It was a fact that she was stating. Nodded slowly. My name is Green. I am sorry. I was looking for the observation deck. I got lost. I did not mean to come here." He took a step backward toward the door. He wanted to leave this room. Something about being here felt wrong. Something told him that this was not a place where humans were supposed to be. The younger woman moved fast. She walked to the door and stood in front of it. Her body blocked his way out. She was looking with curiosity in her eyes. The older woman also moved. She came closer too. She was looking at him the way someone might look at a puzzle they were trying to solve. "How did you get to this part of the station?" the older woman asked. "I told you I got lost," said. He kept his voice calm even though he was starting to feel worried. "I will leave now. I did not mean to bother you." "No," the younger woman said. She had a softer voice than the older one. "You will stay. You will answer our questions." Looked at both women. They were not threatening him directly, but they were not letting him leave either. He could try to push past them. He was stronger than they looked, but he did not know enough about strength to be sure he could succeed. And he did not want to start a fight that could ruin the human mission on the station. "My name is Green," he said again, speaking to both of them. "I am the captain of the human research team. If you keep me here, my team will come looking for me. The station leaders will know that I am missing. That will cause problems for your work here." The older woman's mouth moved slightly. It might have been a smile. It might have been something else. Could not tell. "I am," the older woman said. We are researchers. We study many things. We study how different species think and behave." "We have never studied a human directly before," said. She was still standing between and the door. Not one who could speak and think and answer questions. Walked closer too. She looked at his face, then at his hands, then at his body. She was examining him like he was a specimen in a laboratory. "You are not afraid," said. It was not a question. "I am cautious," replied. "But I am not afraid of you. I am a trained soldier and a captain. I have been in difficult situations before. Running away would not help me, and fighting would make things worse. So I stay calm and I talk. That is what I do." Looked at, some kind of communication passed between them without words. It was something only could understand. "We will keep you here for a while," said. "We want to ask you about your kind. We want to know why you behave the way you do. Your species should be simple, but you are not. You should be easy to predict, but you are not. You should prioritize survival above all else, but you do not. We want to understand why." Realized that he was trapped. He could not leave this room, but he could still think. He could still use his mind. That was what made humans different. Humans could adapt. Humans could find ways forward even when the situation looked bad. "All right," said. He sat down in a chair near one of the machines. "I will answer your questions, but I want to understand something first. What exactly have you been studying?" And exchanged another look. Then walked to one of the containers on the wall. Inside could see something moving. It was human-shaped. It was very small and very still. Felt his blood go cold. He understood now. These women had taken a human. They had done experiments. This was worse than he thought. "We will explain everything," said. She sat down across from. "And then we will ask you our questions. And perhaps, if you help us understand your kind, we can help you understand what we have learned about you." Looked at the container on the wall. Then he looked back at the two women. He knew that the next few hours would change everything. Not just for him, but for humans everywhere. The hours passed slowly. Sat in the chair while and asked him question after question. They wanted to know everything about humans. How did humans think? Why did humans feel emotions? What made humans take risks that seemed foolish and dangerous? Spoke most of the time. Her questions were hard and direct. She did not seem interested in being kind too. She only wanted information. She wanted facts and answers that she could use in her research. "Your people spend resources on individuals who cannot help the group," said. She was sitting at a desk now, looking at across the space between them. "You keep the old alive even when they cannot work. You care for the sick even when they drain your supplies. You protect children for many years even though they produce nothing during that time. This is inefficient. Why do you do this?" Thought about the question carefully. He did not want to say anything wrong, but he also wanted to be honest. "Because they are part of us," said. "The old people have knowledge, they have experience. They teach the young ones. The sick people might get better. The children will grow up and help the whole group. But more than that, we keep them alive because it is the right thing to do. We do not only care about efficiency, we care about life itself." Was taking notes on a device in her hand. She was younger and seemed less harsh than, but she asked questions too. Her questions were different though. She wanted to know about feelings more than facts. "When you say it is the right thing, what do you mean?" asked. "Right is a concept that deals with rule and law. It is not an emotion." "It is both," said. "Humans learn what is right and what is wrong when they are children. Our parents teach us. Our culture teaches us. But it becomes more than just learning. It becomes something we feel inside. It becomes part of who we are." Made a sound that might have been frustration. "That is not logical. You are being controlled by chemicals in your brain. Emotion is not real. It is just biology." "Maybe," said, "but the results are real. When a human sees someone in danger, something inside them makes them want to help. Sometimes they do help, even when it puts them in danger too. A might decide to help or not help based on logic. A human decides based on something deeper." Told them stories then. Long stories. Stories about people he knew and stories about people in human history. He told them about firefighters who ran into burning buildings to save people they had never met. He told them about soldiers who threw themselves on grenades to protect their friends. He told them about mothers who stood between their children and danger without even thinking about it. He told them about strangers who helped other strangers with no hope of getting anything back. As spoke, he watched face. Her dark eyes were following every word. Sometimes she looked confused. Sometimes she looked sad. She was trying to understand, really understand, what it meant to be human. Was different. Listen, but she seemed angry. Or maybe she was not angry. Maybe she was defensive. Realized that might be realizing that her entire research was based on wrong ideas. That was not an easy thing to accept. There is a human philosophy, said, that says we are here to help each other, to lift each other up, to make sure that no one is left alone or forgotten. My people call it compassion. It is not logic. It is something different, something stronger maybe. Leaned forward. But does compassion make your people weak? If you waste resources helping those who cannot help back, does that make you vulnerable to species that do not have this weakness? It was a good question. Had thought about this many times. No, he said, it makes us stronger. When people know that their group will care for them, they are willing to work harder. They are willing to take risks. They are willing to create and build and explore. A person who is alone, who knows no one will help them, will only think about themselves. But a person who is part of a group, who knows they are cared for, will think bigger. They will think about the future. They will think about others. Told them about teamwork. He told them how humans could achieve more together than alone. He told them that might be intelligent individually, but humans could be smarter as a group because they trusted each other completely. Humans will die for people they love, said, not because it is logical, because they cannot imagine living in a world without them. That love, that connection, it gives humans purpose. It gives them reason to keep going even when everything is hard. Was writing faster now. Is this why you did not panic when you realized you could not leave? You said you have a team. You knew they would search for you. Yes, said, I have people I trust. I have a mission. I have something bigger than myself. That gives me strength. The room fell silent for a long time, was staring at a wall, was staring at her notes, could see that something was happening in their minds. They were starting to understand. Not fully, maybe not even well, but they were beginning to see humans differently. Finally spoke. I want to ask you something personal, Captain Green. Do you hate us for studying your kind without permission? Do you hate us for keeping a human here? Thought about it, he could say yes. He could say that it was wrong and cruel, but that would not help anything. That would not change what had been done. I think what you did was wrong, he said slowly. You took away someone's freedom. You hurt someone. That is always wrong, but I do not hate you. I think you were working with incomplete information. You did not understand what you were studying. Now you are starting to understand. That matters. That changes things. Looked at, this time looked back. Some kind of understanding passed between them. We need to think, said. She sounded different now. Less cold, still controlled, but different. We need to reconsider our research. We need to reconsider our conclusions. Nodded, I think that is the right decision. I think that shows wisdom. He did not know what would happen next, but something was changing. Something important was shifting in this room, and knew that before it was over, everything would be different. Back at the human base on the station, Sarah Hammond was worried. Captain Green had been gone for 2 hours. That was not normal, was always careful, always checked in. Something was wrong. Sarah was a lieutenant in the human military. She had been trained to handle difficult situations. She was smart and quick. She could make decisions fast. When she realized that was missing, she did not waste any time. She gathered 4 soldiers from her team. They were the best fighters on the station. They carried weapons, but Sarah told them to be careful. They did not know what had happened to. They did not know if he was in danger. They did not want to cause problems with the unless they had to. The station AI helped them search. It showed them where humans had walked and where humans had not walked. Finally, it showed them something important. The AI told them that had entered a restricted area, a research area. The door had locked behind him. He had not left since then. Sarah felt her heart beat faster. Restricted area. That meant work, secrets. If it had gone into something private, they might not be happy. They might think he was spying. They might think he was a threat. She made her decision. "We go in now," she said to her team. "We move fast. We do not hurt anyone unless we have to. Our only goal is to get the captain back safe. Understand?" All 4 soldiers nodded. They understood. They moved through the station carefully. Sarah had memorized the way. The station AI had given them all the information they needed. When they reached the research area, Sarah could see 2 guards outside the door. The guards looked at the humans with surprise. Humans were not supposed to be in this area. Sarah moved her hand up in a signal that meant peace. "We are looking for Captain Green," she said. "We know he is in there. We need to bring him back to our base. There is no problem, we just need our captain." The guards did not move. They did not speak. Sarah knew they were probably calling for help. They were probably getting instructions about what to do. "Open the door," Sarah said. It was not a request. It was a command. She was a lieutenant. These were guards. She had authority here. One of the guards moved to the side panel and pressed a button. The door opened. What Sarah saw when the door opened surprised her completely. She expected to see hurt or scared. She expected to see him being held against his will. She expected to see danger. Instead, she saw sitting calmly in a chair. He was talking to 2 women. He did not look hurt. He did not look scared. He looked like he was having a normal conversation. Sarah's soldiers moved forward into the room quickly. They had their weapons ready. They were prepared to fight if they had to. "Wait," said. He held up his hand. His voice was calm and clear. "Stand down, all of you. I need you to trust me for just a few more minutes." Sarah stopped. Her soldiers stopped. They looked at and then at each other. The captain was alive. The captain was okay. But why did he not want to leave? "Captain, we need to go," Sarah said. "This is a restricted area. We should not be here." "I know," said, "but something important is happening here. Something that could change everything for humans in this part of space. I need a few more minutes, please." Sarah had known for 5 years. She trusted him completely. If he said he needed more time, then he needed more time. But she also needed to protect her team. "All right," she said, 5 minutes but no more." Turned back to N. Both of them were looking at the human soldiers with careful attention. They did not look afraid. They looked interested. "You see," said to the 2 women. "They came to rescue me. They would fight for me even if they did not understand the situation. They would risk themselves because I am part of their group. This is what I was trying to explain. This is what humans are. We are loyal. We are willing to face danger for each other." Was watching Sarah carefully. "Your soldiers would fight against for you." "Yes," said, "without question. And they would do it even if they knew they might lose. That is what loyalty means. That is what being human means." Sarah was listening to this conversation. She did not fully understand what was happening, but she was starting to get an idea. The captain had not been taken by these. The captain had been talking to them, learning from them, teaching them something. "There is more," said. He turned to face both Sarah and the women. "We can go now. Sarah and I can leave with my team. We can take this to the station leaders. We can create a problem between humans and there would be anger. There would be questions. It would damage the relationship between our species." He paused. He let that sink in. "Or," he continued, "we can do something different and have been conducting research that they did not fully understand. They made mistakes. They did things that were wrong, but now they understand more. Now they want to change. If they are willing to be honest about what they have learned, and if you are willing to listen, then we can turn this into something good." We are willing. We made errors in our research. We treated humans as simple creatures when you are not simple at all. Captain Green has taught us that. We want to correct our mistakes. We want to present new findings to our council. Sarah looked at. She could see in his eyes that he was telling the truth. He believed in this. He was choosing to help these instead of punishing them. "All right," Sarah said, "but we do this by the rules. We report to the station leaders. We let them decide what happens next." Nodded. "That is exactly what we should do." He stood up and walked toward Sarah. The two women also stood up. All of them moved toward the door together. 4 human soldiers, 1 human captain, and 2 scientists, together, moving forward as one group. The guards outside the door looked confused when they saw them all leave together, but they did not try to stop them. Something had changed. Something important had shifted in this moment. As they walked through the station corridors and then talked about what would come next, they talked about presenting their findings to the council. They talked about showing that humans were not what they thought they were. Sarah walked beside. "I do not fully understand what happened in there," she said quietly. Smiled. "Neither do I yet, but I think we just changed everything." Council chamber was a large room with tall ceilings and bright lights. The walls were made of a material that looked like glass but was much stronger. The council sat in raised seats arranged in a circle. There were 9 council members, all looking down at the humans and the 2 scientists who had requested this meeting. Word had spread fast through the station. A human captain was going to speak before the council. It was unprecedented. No human had ever been given such an honor. Station workers gathered in the hallways outside the chamber. Some wanted to hear what the human would say. Some wanted to see if he would fail or make a fool of himself. Stood in the center of the chamber and stood beside him. Sarah Hammond and her soldiers stood at the back, watching everything. Wore his uniform, the clothes that showed he was a captain of the human military. He wanted the council to see him as someone important, someone worthy of respect. The oldest council member spoke first. His name was, and he had been a council member for longer than had been alive. "We are told you wish to speak," said. His voice was like ice. "You have 5 minutes, then we will ask questions." Nodded. "Thank you. I will not take long. Your scientists have made an important discovery. They were conducting research on humans, and they found something that changes everything about what your people believe regarding my kind." He paused and looked at each council member. "You think humans are simple. You think we are primitive. You think we are driven only by the desire to survive and reproduce. You believe that emotions make us weak and illogical, but all of that is wrong." A council member in the middle stood up. "You are speaking out of turn. You are in the presence of the council. You show disrespect." Kept his voice calm and steady. "I show only honesty. I understand that my words may sound bold to you, but I ask you to listen. Your scientists will explain what they have learned." Stepped forward. She was uncomfortable, could see that, but she was going to do this. She was going to speak the truth about her research. "I have been studying human psychology and behavior for 7 years, said. "My original hypothesis was that humans were simple creatures that could be easily predicted and controlled. However, my continued observation and my recent direct interaction with Captain Green has led me to different conclusions." Moved to a large screen. Images appeared showing data and information. She spoke about her research. She explained the humans she had studied. She told the council about behavior that did not fit her original theory. "Humans display something that we do not have," continued. "They form connections with individuals outside their family unit. They will sacrifice their own safety for the safety of others. They create complex social structures based on trust rather than logic. These behaviors are not weaknesses. They are strengths." Spoke next. She was less formal then, but she was also clear in what she was saying. "Humans have a concept called love," said. "It is not a biological function. It is a choice. They choose to care about specific individuals more than others. They choose to commit to groups and ideas. This creates a loyalty that is stronger than any logic. This is what makes humans dangerous, not their weapons or their intelligence, but their commitment to each other." A council member named Dex stood up. He looked angry. "You are saying we have been wrong about humans, that we underestimated them." "Yes," said, "you have." "This is unacceptable," Dex said. "If humans are as strong as you say, then they are a threat. We should remove them from the station. We should not allow them to develop further. They could become an enemy we cannot control." Stepped forward. "I understand your concern, but ending contact will not make humans disappear. My people are already in this galaxy. We are already growing stronger, but we do not need to be your enemies. We can be your partners." He pulled up images of human technology. He showed them weapons and ships. He showed them the speed at which humans developed new ideas. He did not threaten, but he made it clear that humans could defend themselves if they needed to. "Humans could fight you," said plainly. "Not successfully right now. Your technology is more advanced. But in 100 years, maybe less, we could be your equals. We could be stronger. The question is not whether we will become powerful. The question is whether we will be your enemies or your friends when we do." The council chamber became loud. Council members were talking to each other. Some seemed worried. Some seemed angry. Some seemed thoughtful. Raised his hand and everyone became quiet. "What do you propose, human?" Took a breath. This was the most important part. "I propose that we change the agreements between our peoples," said. "Instead of treating humans as a subject species, treat us as equals. Study us, yes, but do so with our permission and our cooperation. Learn from us just as we learn from you. Build something together that is stronger than what either of us could build alone." He paused and then said the most important thing. "Your people are logical. You are perfect at following rules and solving problems with pure reason, but you have lost something. You have lost the ability to choose mercy. You have lost the ability to see value in something that is not efficient. Humans have those things. We can show you how to be more than what you are, and you can help us become smarter and stronger. Together, we could be incredible." Stood up and added something important. "There is a human concept that Captain Green taught me. True strength is not measured by the power to destroy. True strength is measured by the choice not to destroy when you could. Humans make this choice. They could hurt those they love, but they do not. They could take resources from others, but they choose to share instead. This is philosophical evolution that we have never achieved. This is what we need to learn." The council chamber was quiet. Could see that his words had made an impact. Even Dex, who had seemed most angry, was thinking about what had been said. Finally spoke. "We will vote on a new agreement. We will take 3 days to discuss this proposal. In 3 days, we will vote on whether to accept humans as equals in our space or to ask them to leave." He looked directly at. "If your people are as strong as you suggest, Captain, then we have no choice but to treat you as partners. And if you are right about humans being capable of mercy and wisdom, then perhaps this partnership will benefit us all." As left the council chamber with and Sarah, he knew that something had changed. The vote would probably be close. There would probably be council members who voted against the proposal. But for the first time, humans had been given a real chance to show what they could do. For the first time, humans were not being judged as primitives, but as potential equals. Sarah walked beside as they moved through the corridors. "That was incredible," she said. "I have never seen anything like that." "Neither have I," replied. "But this is just the beginning. Now we have to make sure we prove that we are worthy of the respect we asked for." The 3 days of waiting felt like forever. Spent the time with his team, preparing for whatever would come next. He did not know if the council would vote yes or no. He did not know if his words had been enough to change the minds of powerful who had thought the same way for millions of years. On the 3rd day, he received a message. The council had voted. The results were ready to be announced. All humans on the station were invited to attend the ceremony in the main chamber. This was important. This was historic. Stood with Sarah and his team as they entered the large chamber. This time, not just the council was present. Hundreds had come to hear the results. and were already there, sitting in a special section reserved for honored scientists. Stood and looked down at the gathered crowd. His face showed no emotion, but his voice carried power and authority. "We have debated the proposal put forward by Captain Green and our scientists and said, we have discussed the nature of human consciousness and human values. We have considered the future of relations between and humans. The vote was not unanimous, but it was clear." He paused. "By a vote of 6-3, the Council declares that humans will be recognized as equals in this region of space. The human accords are hereby revised. Humans will no longer be studied as subjects. They will be studied as partners. Trade will be permitted between our peoples. Military cooperation will be explored. Humans will have rights equal to any species under our authority." The chamber erupted in sound. Some were cheering, some looked unhappy, some looked uncertain, but the vote had happened. The decision had been made. Continued. "We also announce that, and despite their previous unethical research, have demonstrated the ability to revise their conclusions based on new evidence. They have shown wisdom. They will be appointed as official liaisons between and human cultures. They will continue their research, but now in cooperation with human scientists and under ethical guidelines that both species agree upon." And stood up. They looked honored and also nervous. This was a big responsibility. They would be the bridge between two entire species. Felt Sarah grip his arm. He could see the pride and joy on her face. They had done it. Humans had been recognized, not as inferiors but as equals. After the ceremony ended, there was a reception, and humans talked together. Some conversations were awkward, some were interesting. People were learning to see each other differently. Later, when most people had left, found himself alone with and in a smaller room. "You have changed everything," said to him. "You came into our research room by accident, and you changed everything." Smiled. "I only told the truth. You were willing to listen. That is what matters." Was looking at him with an expression that was almost kind. Almost. Was not a warm person, but she was honest. "I want to apologize," said, "for what I did to that human we had been studying, for the research I conducted. It was wrong. I did not understand what I was doing, but that does not excuse it. I am sorry." Nodded. "I believe you, and I accept your apology, but the important thing is not just saying you are sorry. It is changing what you do next. It is making sure it never happens again." "We will," said firmly. "We will make sure that humans are treated with respect. We will make sure that any research done on humans is done with human permission. We will make sure they understand what is happening and why." "That is all I ask," said. He stood to leave, but stopped him. "I want to ask you something," she said. "When you first realized you could not leave the research room, you could have been afraid. You could have been angry, but you were neither. Why?" Thought about it carefully. It was a good question. Because being afraid would not change anything. Being angry would not help. I was in a situation I could not control, so I focused on what I could control. I could control my response. I could choose to be calm. I could choose to listen and to try to understand. And I could try to make the people holding me understand something about who I am. In a way, I was also doing research. I was researching them. Made a sound that might have been respect. That is logical. You acted with logic. "No," said. "I acted with love. I believed that understanding could happen. I believed that two intelligent beings could connect even across huge differences. That is not logic. That is faith. That is hope. That is something uniquely human." He extended his hand to both of them. "I am proud to be part of the first partnership between humans, and I believe we will do great things together." Both and shook his hand. The contact was brief, but it meant something. It was a promise. It was a beginning. Walked through the corridors of the station toward the transport ship that would take him home. His team was already aboard, waiting for him. They would return to human space and tell everyone what had happened. They would tell the story of how one human captain had changed relations between two entire species. But as walked, he thought about something else. He thought about the human who had been kept in the research room. He thought about asking and what had happened to that person. He thought about making sure that person received help and healing. That was what humans did. They thought about the suffering of others. They tried to help. They tried to fix what had gone wrong. As the transport ship lifted off from the station, looked back at the station through the window, and were there somewhere, preparing for their new role. They would learn to understand humans better. They would teach others that humans were not primitives to be controlled, but partners to be respected. Thought about how one wrong turn had led him to a locked door, how one locked door had changed the future, how one conversation had shifted the relationship between two entire species. He did not believe in accidents. He believed that things happened for a reason. He believed that even when you made a mistake, sometimes that mistake led you exactly where you needed to be. Sarah sat down beside him. The crew is celebrating. They want you to come tell them what happened. Nodded. Tell them I will be there in a moment. He looked out at the stars one more time. Somewhere out there were other species, other civilizations. Humans would meet them all eventually. And now, because of what happened in one research room on one station, those meetings would be different. Humans would not be treated as inferiors. Humans would stand as equals. Had gone looking for an observation deck and had found something much greater instead. He had found understanding. He had found hope. He had found proof that even the biggest differences could be bridged if people were willing to listen. He stood up and walked toward the crew quarters to celebrate with his team. They had earned it. They had risked everything for this moment, and they had succeeded. The future was open now, for humans, for everyone.